All right, let us move forward. Now, when I was analyzing this joystick, what we have created so far, especially the PCB board and its interaction with the keypads, you can see that this keypad is perfectly placed. It is exactly within the limits of the PCB board. However, if you are observing the keypad which is placed on this region, I mean, which is the circle which I'm highlighting right now, this is slightly in the air. I mean, this is slightly off position. So what do we need to do is we need to extend the PCB board slightly right side so that it covers the entire circle of this thing. Now there are two options for us. We can either reposition the bosses slightly inward, or we can modify the shape of the PCB board by extending it outward. I will be basically expanding the shape of the PCB board. Okay, so we have this flexible modeling option called as offset. We can just select this one and directly push it outward. All right, now I'll just come back and you can see it has been present over here. Clear? Now it has been extended. All right, now next thing is just try to ensure whether our PCB board is not interfering with the ribs what we have in the upper cover. All right, and I'm not finding any of interferences. If there are interferences, then we basically have to modify those interferences as well. All right, and now there are two things what we have to work for. The first thing is how about the PCB board for these two options what we have? Do we require to create other type of PCB board over here? For example, let me just hide off. We can create another set of bosses over here. Okay, and we can add another PCB board which might be connected with wires, okay, with the main board, and you know, they might both be linked together. Or I was just googling and seeing whether we have extended boards extended type of PCB boards created, and I found that yes, there are certain extended boards created. Now this is completely electronical thing which is not related to our topic, but imagine we have two options right now. First thing is to extend the board from the center, okay, and extend to a limit that it covers these two options what we have, okay, these two buttons what we have. Otherwise you add another set of bosses and create another small PCB board location. Okay, now it depends on the electronic engineers comments, and since we are not belonging to that field, we cannot comment on that thing, but I'm just letting you know two options what you can do. If there is a possibility to extend the board will be extended, and that will be covering that two switches as well. Secondly, if it cannot be extended, then you have to create bosses and add another PCB board. As a part of exercise, if you really want to do that thing, you can just add up two bosses over here and create a board like feature and exactly create these 3 holes or 4 holes what we have. Okay, but in that case you basically have to create 2 holes, one on the left, one on the right, because it is very thin in comparison with this width. All right, now what I will be doing for this one is I will be extending the board from here. All right, so I'll just select this PCB board, extrude it, and go to corner rectangle, and from here I will be extending it till here. Okay, and I'll go to references. It is always desired for us to delete the external references. Now we are working on the PCB board. PCB board is active, but we have a reference of lower cover which is not a part of PCB part, so we will delete it, close it. All right, so this is being deleted and this is extended, so I'll just keep it as 0.03 because both of them should be having same thickness. It should be on the other side. Right, now imagine if we are not if technically as an electronical engineer, if we are aware of this PCB knowledge, and if they say that you cannot extend the board like this and have your circuit board being created, then never mind, you can just add another bosses and place this PCB board. Nevertheless, we require another set of bosses on left and right, because you can see that if this button is being placed, this will be having a deflection as it is moving downward, right? So we require for support 2 additional bosses, which we will be doing it right now. Okay, so what we will be doing is firstly we will be activating the lower cover. Okay, and we will be selecting the boss which we have created, this bosses. Okay, this is number 9. I'll edit the definition. All right, and I'll also hide off the upper cover. All right, so we will be having the PCB board visible for us, and we will be creating the boss over here. Okay, and I will be creating a boss somewhere over here. All right, and I'll mirror it on the other side. So this will be 1.3.375. all right, so this has a boss, and again I'll be adding another hole, the number 3 hole, the tapped hole on this bosses. So I'll be referring this one. All right, and I'll be adding another holes for the screws. All right, so bosses are being created. 6 bosses we have. All right, now let me turn on the assembly. Okay, now we require to add holes in the PCB board, so I'll activate the PCB board, and I'll go to the hole what I have, what we have over here, extrude number 2, and before that I need to push off this one upward because I want the material below extrude number 2. all right, edit definition, and I'll make this as no hidden so that I can see the bosses in the background. I'll use those as references. Now remember, I'm working in the PCB board, and in the references you can see there are a lot of lower covers over here which we have to delete. Okay, so I'll be just adding first one, two holes, then I'll just go to references and delete all these. Update sketch, close. all right, you can just convert it to be strong dimensions, selecting all and pressing Ctrl T. all right, let us see how will it look like. So these holes are looking slightly off centered. I'll just press Ctrl Z. Okay, and now I'll just come back to this extrude 2 again, edit it. Now, while removing the references, the problem is happening actually. This is the first reference which is being removed. all right, okay, so this is actually technically 0.155, but if I'm just pressing Ctrl T in order to convert it to be a strong dimension, I'll show you, it's changing its value to 0.16, thereby this hole is shifting. Now in this kind of cases, I'll show you a trick what we have to do. Okay, so we have to first delete off all the unwanted constraints or unwanted references. Now we can go to dimensions over here, select all the dimensions, right click, untick this value, round display value. Okay, so this is the value of that position and that diameters. Select again, right click and lock that values, select again, right click and tick this option. Now we have basically removed them, and we have also converted these into strong dimensions. Okay, now you can see these are perfectly concentric. We can just press OK, and you will be having the holes exactly at the right position with strong dimensions. That is the most important point. Okay, now I'll just come back to edit definition, and I need to add 2 holes over here. I'll come back to no hidden, okay, or hidden lines. Now I'll be using these as references for now, and after adding the circle I'll be deleting these references, and you performing the same operation which I've done a while ago. So this equal to represents the first dia what I have. Okay, 0.10. Now I need to delete the references of lower cover because we are working in the PCB and PCB shouldn't have any of those. So I'll come back to dimensions over here. These are the 4 or 5 dimensions what I have. Right click, convert it to a rounded value, lock it, again select them, right click, pick this option. So all of these are strong dimensions right now and they have no references with other external objects. You can just press OK and convert the view to shading view, and you can see that the PCB board is right now placed at appropriate position with 2 additional bosses which we have added in the lower cover. Now I'll just go to view and unhide all the respected features. Let us look at the sectional view and see whether there are any interferences over here. No, there are no interferences. All right. Now I need to download the screw for this one. Okay, so we will come back to our website, and this is the number 3 website. So we have selected the screw, isn't it? I'll just download it directly, and I don't know why it's showing forbidden. Yep, this is perfectly downloaded. I'll take it to the folder where I normally save my files for this case. So this is another screw. I'll just keep it in another folder, PCB screw. Paste it over here. Come back to the assembly and move your insert here. Okay, and go to assembly and PCB screw, all files, select the step file, give a default name, press OK, and it loads for a while. First select this surface, select the PCB surface, then select this cylinder, select this cylinder. Now the first one is coincident, second one is coincident. You can just click on allow assumption. Okay, now let us just look at the sectional view at this point. Yeah, so it is perfectly engaging with the boss and we have the screw being present appropriately. Now I can just use the repeat command and select both the constraints which I have used, the first one and the second one. The first one, second one, first one and the second one. Again the same process. Now one thing to remember, PCB board will not be dead flat. It will be having some electronical components which we cannot model. That is extremely difficult for us because we are not an electronical engineer. They will be generating those things, the circuit boards, etc. You can just Google and see how does the PCB board looks like. So you'll be having all these images. I have a course in assembly model and I have a case study where I have actually modeled a few of the electronic components and assembled them together. All right. If you are really interested, you can just check up that thing. Come back to view and you can change the color of these ones to just have a difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all these are changed. Then you'll be having the upper cover. Okay, and you'll be having these 4 screws. Let us group this one as PCB and these are the main screws. So far so good. We have reached a very good stage, and I will be continuing the video and we will be adding other features in the geometries and make our product more efficient. Let us catch up in the next video.